Welcome to episode 106 of the Thunder Underground podcast. My name is Trent. I'm joined by Jason, and yet again, I think we've got a good one.
I know we do.
Yeah, it's not a
There's
right?
no thinking about it.
Right. We've got Lola Henderson here,
Yes,
the bassist and vocalist of Redneck Nosferatu.
that's right.
Think of a great adjective. Badass, amazing, talented, beautiful. There you go.
That's
It
right.
describes her.
Exactly.
She's here to talk about everything. This is a pretty lengthy one, and it's lengthy in a good way. We always love it when these go long because you find out all kinds of stuff about whoever's on here. And so it's great to find out this stuff about Lola. We're going to get to that here in a bit. Before we do, we want to talk about, we just saw them live. Punk Wars is what it was called, out at the Shrine. And it featured Redneck Nosferatu, Madewell, Decomposed, and Follow the Buzzards.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we missed Follow the Buzzards. But we got there in time to see Decomposed.
Of course.
And that was a great... I mean, what would you say? That was, they had a real, early punk kind of Misfits vibe to them. Real catchy, real classic punk.
Yeah.
And it even had a lot of those themes, too. Zombies, monsters.
Yeah. It's funny you said a Misfits vibe. I got that. I enjoyed... I really liked the vocals. I liked the vocalist. I thought that all of them had a great presence, and it was just a fun punk vibe.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Punk vibe. In between the songs, all of them were active on the mic. In typical punk fashion, yelling to the crowd, getting people into it, and they even did a cover of a Ricky Nelson song. So I mean, how can you not?
That's right.
How can you not appreciate that as a fan of music? And that kind of stuff goes hand in hand with early punk, too, because that's...
Yeah.
Early punk is old school music just amped up to 12.
Yeah, it's the roots of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, then we saw Madewell.
Of course, and we've played them on the podcast before.
Yeah. Yeah, this was the first time I think I'd ever seen them.
Yes.
We'd been to a couple other times at other shows, but this is the first time it actually worked out, and very cool. I thought live they had a little bit heavier sound than came off on their stuff that I've heard online and what we played, And it was a real kind of somewhere between hard punk and hard rock.
Yeah.
Maybe like your harder edge stuff from Rancid or something, NoFX. I think they did a NoFX cover, so that kind of falls into that vein. And, it was a 3-piece, and they had a nice full sound, and I thought they did a killer job.
Yeah, and the bass player's dressed as a Star Wars, I think it was Han Solo.
Yeah.
One of the eras or reincarnations of Han Solo. Can't remember which, maybe a Jedi of the Return of the Jedi era Han Solo.
I don't know
maybe.
Which era.
I can't remember. What
is it Han or Han?
Han. I always said Han Solo because I'm weird.
Okay.
What Star Wars character did you dress up as since it was Punk Wars?
I went as, I forgot his name. That blind Asian dude from the new movie.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I don't remember his name, but that guy ruled.
Yeah.
It's funny. You look just like him.
Yeah. It was cool.
Works out.
Yeah. Well, and you, of course, were Ray from episode 7.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Can't you tell?
Yeah. Well, no, here's the deal, people. It was called Punk Wars, and the theme of the deal was if you dressed up as a Star Wars character, you got in for free.
Yes.
And he was the only person there dressed up.
Well, I
did I notice at least, and he mentioned that on stage. So.
I was gonna wear my Salacious Crumb outfit, but it wasn't. I hadn't washed it yet, so well. What do you do?
Maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah, you could wear that to Sham 69 at the Vanguard.
Okay.
On February 7th because Redneck Nosferatu's opening up for that show.
Yes, I'm gonna do it.
Well, after that, Redneck Nosferatu. Finally, good to finally see him.
Yeah, definitely.
This was, what I knew from them, because I hadn't seen them live either, was the album that they put out last year.
Mm-hmm.
And you obviously knew it was going to be different because there was different vocalists. Lola wasn't singing on that one. But even that, the whole sound and everything was just amped up even more, just a little bit heavier than all that, stuff from the album. And they call themselves Killbilly Trash Punk.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a great a great genre description.
Yeah,
either way it went, whether it's on that album or what we heard live.
Yeah, it's an amazing description. I really liked, these guys had bounce. Lola's voice is badass. I mean, it's evil and it just cuts through. And it's you get a vibe of almost like it's a band rolling through town. They've got they walk in the room and they're in a band. They're the band, and they all really seem to enjoy their time on stage. They all seem like really great friends, that sounds corny, but they just really seem to have a chemistry and enjoy each other. So it was great to see, really was.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing I thought was cool is a lot of times music like this only has one guitar.
Yeah.
But they had two guitars on stage, and that really brought out that whole, wall of sound where it was
definitely.
It just took it to this level beyond what you think of when you think of a punk show.
Exactly.
It's just bigger, thicker, more robust. It's like how you describe Nels, but like, to a less extreme degree,
Yeah.
I kind of got that kind of feeling.
Okay.
In a way, if that makes sense. Well, before we keep talking about this, why don't we play a song from them? This is a brand new track. It was actually just released by the band yesterday, and this is called Papa Kills Babies. Papa Kills Babies from Redneck Nosferatu. Brand new track. They just released it yesterday. Glad we get to play it on here.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's like a badass song title.
Yeah.
I could, like I said, I could hear Jose Mangan saying that in his best death metal voice.
Yeah.
Even though this is punk rock music.
Right.
I just love that fucking song title. It's great.
There you go. There's 2 minutes of glory, and I know that you're a big fan of songs like that just get in, slam it, and get the fuck out.
Yes, I love that shit. Yeah, 2-3 minutes, that's it. Other than that, I don't know,
Right.
You're
a fan of Metallica. What are you talking about?
I know. It's weird. I'm a walking contradiction.
That's true.
What can I say? I'm a chubby but handsome walking contra-fucking-diction.
There you go.
So deal with it.
Well, you can get that song on their Bandcamp. It's only $1.
Yeah.
They're currently working on a new album, which you'll hear more about that in a bit. You said they seem like a band that's rolling through town. They're going to be doing that this year a couple times. They've got 2 different tours they're planning out, and they toured last year across the Midwest and East Coast. And, I said that backwards. They actually went across the West, like Arizona and up the West Coast to Oregon.
Nice.
We talked about all that as well.
Yep. And, you know, again, Bandcamp, $1. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. It helps support this kind of stuff.
That's right.
You want great music to keep coming from any band, you got to support them.
Exactly.
So Redneck Nosferatu, Madewell, The Decomposed, get on their Facebook, like them, get on Bandcamp, Spotify, wherever they're at. You can find them, YouTube. Pay for their music and download it.
Exactly.
Show support.
That's right.
Well, we wanted to talk about this Halata Fest. We've mentioned it a couple times.
Yeah.
But it's getting closer here in about a week and a half. The first, it's going to be 2 different days. The first date is February 4th. The second date is February 11th. Both of these days are a Saturday, so you have no excuse if you're anywhere in this area of the country. It's in Tulsa, so if you're Oklahoma City, Joplin, Wichita, Kansas City, Dallas, drive on over here. It's for a great cause.
It is.
$10 gets you in the door, and it's a huge long list of bands, and that $10 goes straight to Casey Halata.
Yes.
And their son as well. It helps to pay for, she's still got issues going on medically, and it helps, pay for their expenses from John. So we need you to come out there, support this. $10 at the door. There's going to be people out there, selling stuff where the proceeds also go to her. There's going to be auctions from,
they got all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, like autograph memorabilia, all kinds of great stuff.
Yeah.
So just run down this list real quick of the people on the 4th. We got the Revolutioners, Chuck Cooley, Garrett Heck, Sovereign Dame, Fist of Rage, Enslaved by Fear, Machine in the Mountain, Forever in Disgust, Driver, Severmind, Grind, and Scream Red Mutiny.
I mean, that's insane. That's an insane lineup.
Yeah.
It really is, and it's just a great way to honor John, who we tragically lost on Christmas Day. And we're gonna do it upright, and we're gonna give him a great tribute, and it should be an amazing night with some insane music.
Yeah, definitely. And this will be the first Scream Red Mutiny performance with Nick playing guitar.
Yes.
Mike Starkey, who's the original bassist, is coming back for this performance.
Back on bass, yeah.
And in the meantime, they're doing a search for another bassist, and we should mention when we were at that show, we talked to Sprout for quite a while.
Yeah, we
did. He was at that Punk War show as well.
Yep.
And he said they've narrowed it down to 4 people, and it's looking like it's going to be a good fit no matter which way they go. So yeah, get out there. That'll be a one-time performance with that lineup because, Mike Starkey's just filling in for this, tribute, which makes perfect sense that he's doing that.
Yeah.
Then the next week, the 11th, I know that the Joint Effect is doing a show.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that'll have Tony Hinton on drums, and I'm not sure who's playing guitar, but I know that Sprout's doing some of the vocals I read. And someone else is as well. And then I know Blackwater Rebellion's playing that day. A couple other bands. Sprout's doing an acoustic set. So there's not a couple other bands. There's several other bands just like this list, but we'll talk more about
Revenge.
that next.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's I don't have the list right in front of me, but that's going to be a great one too.
Yeah. Yeah, as we get closer to that, we'll mention more about that. But once again, February 4th, the Shrine Halata Fest benefit for John Halata, gathering of musical family.
There you
go. Need to give a shout out to Steve Murdoch.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's, I know tons of people are involved in this, but I know he's kind of spearheaded all this and,
exactly.
Put all this together. Endless work. So Steve Murdoch always puts on good shows, and this, of course, will be the best of them all.
Definitely.
Well, we got anything else before we get into this interview?
Okay.
Iron Maiden tickets just went on selling pre-sale.
What in the hell?
We never even talked about this last week, did we? For some reason.
Did we know last week?
Well, I think we knew that they had announced the dates.
Oh, okay. Oh, we're slipping.
Yeah. Well, the point is Maiden announced new U.S. dates, and shockingly, there was 8 or something shows in the Midwest.
Yeah.
I can't think of any time since Bruce Dickinson has been back in the band that they've done that many shows. And, this many shows in America at all, but that many in this area of the country. They're always East Coast and West Coast, and you'll get something like Chicago or St. Louis.
Mm-hmm. Well, this last run they had, it must have been just an enormous response. So they just said, fuck it, let's just do it everywhere.
Yeah, because
or something. I don't know.
But, besides the Tulsa, they did like Tacoma and a couple other cities that they hadn't done since the 80s.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma City's the same way that they're playing. And then they're hitting 3 in Dallas. Or no, Dallas and Texas.
Yeah.
Or is it 2? Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they're hitting Nebraska, Kansas City, and forgetting something else.
St. Louis?
Yeah, St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all this in this area of the country, so it's pretty huge. Yeah. I know we're going to Oklahoma City and Dallas.
Yes, and we definitely are.
If it strikes our fancy, we may even go to Kansas City.
Let's do it.
Yeah. These are all throughout, they're spread out throughout June and July, so we'll make it happen.
Exactly.
So, yeah, if you're an Iron Maiden fan and for some reason you have not seen that, which I don't know how, pre-sale is already underway, and the tickets go on sale this Friday.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. Well, I think we should shut up and get into this one.
Yeah, roll it.
Yeah, this is Lola Henderson from Redneck Nosferatu.
Charlie Manson got hospitalized. So
oh, really? Oh, no, he's about to go. You guys! So I came to ask you guys a bunch of questions.
Yeah. Let's start.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
What about you? Good New Year so far?
Yeah, I had a pretty good New Year so far. Yeah, got a lot going. Got a lot ahead of me, I guess, for the next couple of months. So
yeah,
the calendar's pretty full, yeah, for sure. I'm going to be playing a lot of shows out of town. Got a tour coming up. And
oh, so you guys already have a tour
another one,
scheduled?
Yeah.
Okay. When's that kick off?
We're going out in, was it March, early April? So I'm pretty sure. And then after that, we're going to go hit Texas and then have another tour later in the year. Go through the East Coast.
Nice. So is the one in March west this time?
Yeah, west. Last time we went up through Albuquerque, Flagstaff, up through Vegas, and then we went up to Reno and then up to the Northwest. And it was an awesome trip up until like the rain just started pummeling us like right when we got to the Northwest. So everything was pretty great though. I mean, it was pretty fun. I mean, we went for 10 days and every day was nice and sunny. Got to shake a lot of new hands and it was pretty great. Nice little travel experience too. So, and I love traveling with my guys. We spend I spend like 2 or 3 days a week with them. We practice like twice or 3 times a week. So, every week.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time together, and it was just a blast, like the entire time on tour. So it's just like I was really stoked on that.
Weren't you from Northwest?
Yeah, I was from Oregon. We ended up playing like a.
So did you play a hometown show or?
Yeah, we got to play with this incredible like Dutch I guess death thrash metal band, I guess, and they were absolutely incredible. It was basically a thrash and death metal show, which is probably one of the best things you can go to in Portland. I mean, Portland's known for its metal, so it's like if you're gonna go see some metal, it's in Portland. I mean, got spoiled with stuff like Bolt Thrower coming through like every year and stuff, or like you ever look at a tour sheet and it's just like, oh man, I can't believe the band's coming to town. They only go to Portland, New York, maybe Texas, so.
Yeah.
It's like, you get really spoiled with that out there, for sure. I've had some great memories, oh gosh, yeah. But, yeah, it was pretty great going through there. Their best show, though, was out in, actually one of our best shows between, like, Flagstaff and, actually Reno was Montana. It was incredible. It was incredible. It was packed, sold out, just awesome show. And we played with, originally, I'm from Arizona. I guess that's where like I started playing music was out there. So a lot of old friends that play in bands from Arizona came up to Montana as well for a big show, and we all just played it together. Had a blast. Got to see old friends. People flew out from all over the place. It was just really cool. So that was great. But we were having some pretty fun shows.
So were a lot of them? Did you do headline gigs, or were a lot of them? Did you get on other shows?
It kind of depended. I mean, like we we recorded some tracks for an album, and then we actually didn't get them until the day before we were going to leave on tour. So we didn't really have anything to show anybody online. Yeah. So we were able to do like a DIY tour without any music to show. It was weird. I mean, I was surprised how many venues took the gamble, and when they did, it really was awesome. You know, we had a good time. And now we're in the process of, I guess, re-recording everything. Like now I'm singing and stuff for the band. And so now we're just going to go ahead and just re-record all of it. And that'll be coming up within the next month. So we'll be a little bit more prepared for going out on the road, because like nobody heard us before. And yeah, we were headlining our tour. Yeah, but we picked up some dates with some old friends, and there was one, I guess, date when we got up to the Northwest. We were supposed to play in Eugene. It didn't work out. So we just started hitting up all the random like grind and whatever was going on shows around the area, and jumped on a really fun punk rock show in Eugene that just immediately smelled like a bong. Like the whole town did when we got out of the car. That was so weird. It smelled like yeah, it's a totally different world up there, I guess, and from being out here.
Yeah, okay.
But it totally did, and we had a great time there too. It was just a great experience. Definitely one of the most fun tours I've ever been on, that's for sure. But yeah, I can't wait to go back out on the road again, for sure. But we're just gonna go up through California this time. We missed it completely this last tour, and like it's kind of bummed out about that, because that's kind of a home base too. I've lived all over the country, and a lot of places that I really enjoyed playing was around California. So can't wait to go back there. But yeah, can't wait. 2017, man.
So you're singing now. How did that come about?
Well, our singer that wasn't like in the direction of where it was going with the band. You don't want to do it anymore after we got back from our tour. I've never sang in a band, like other than maybe backups when I was 18, which seemed pretty easy because you're just screaming about how much you didn't like the government and stuff.
That's really
yeah. But this was just like, you know, I'd done a little bit more backups in Redneck Nosferatu, and like was getting more comfortable with it. But unfortunately, we still had a show 3 days after he decided to leave. So he decided he didn't want to go with any more shows. And so that gave me 3 days to play packed house in OKC with not only some great doom bands, but one of my friends was in the band as well. So it was already nerve-wracking, you know, because he was a musician, you know, that I have a lot of respect for. So it was just like already nerve-wracking as it was, but I had to go out with, you know, sheets of lyrics in front of me and just like go for it. I had no other choice, and it worked, and we've been just practicing, and it ended up really turning out, I guess, for the better. Maybe, you know, it's something new to me, and I really like doing it. So, you know, but
was that like decided like that day within 3 days?
That was it.
Like,
nope.
hey,
I was like, you're out.
Or...
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to do it, I mean, we don't have time. You know, we really didn't like have time to find a new singer. We didn't really want to either. I mean, we all get along pretty well, and it was just kind of like, well, shoot, you know, I can't, you know, can't force somebody to do something they don't want to do if it doesn't make them happy. And like, you know, I wanted to be happy and keep going with stuff. So yeah, we just took it over, and like, I don't know, like I've been just having like a lot of fun doing that. You know, it's just like, you know, maybe it's a side of me that I didn't know it was there, but I think it's like I said, it's different, and I think it's kind of cool to like have like a chick friended band out here. You know, there's a couple out here that are just like really talented singer musicians, but so far I haven't seen many hardcore ones. So I think that's just like cool, you know, like something I would want to see. So I guess that's the point, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, all of our stuff's like, you know, chopping up dead girls, and like, yeah, it's hard not to giggle sometimes when we sing our stuff because it's so ridiculous and so like. I mean, I love it. It's you know, totally like I mean, it's the same thing Danzig's talking about, but like it's just funny to hear a girl singing it, I guess, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Well, yeah, mostly serial killer, like horror movie, totally chopping up dead girls and stuff like that. I think we have a song that's basically called that, and yeah, so also going through the process of like having to sing all those songs, you know, I had to also, you know, actually see, you know, as a bass player before, it was kind of like, you know, I do care. I would definitely want to know the content, of the lyrics of a band that I'm in, you know, for sure. But I mean, admittedly, no, I don't think I've ever. It's like I didn't know, but yeah, it was definitely brought me out of my shell quite a bit, like for sure, like as a musician, and I guess as a person too, because it's just like, can't believe that I'm doing this, you know.
Yeah. So it was never a hard time to sing and play at the same time.
Really hard. Like it was really hard because it's like I said, it was definitely something new. I've been playing bass for a long time, but I think I'm, you know, sometimes just like any musician, I can get really set in my ways doing certain things and like, man. Yeah, it definitely was a changeover for me, but it took a lot of practice, and I'm still practicing, I'm still learning, and you know, with the guys and stuff like that, it's really cool that, you know, we can get together so much and like work on things and be really open about changing things, and you know, everybody gets a pretty solid input, I guess, creatively with the band. But most of the songs that were written by our guitar player, Jordan, and he's just like a jewel. I'm telling you, like everything mostly all this stuff started as country songs.
Yeah.
So like, we can slow them down and play them as country songs as well. You know, we've even been talking about doing that like recently, like going and doing just acoustic versions that were set, you know, just going and playing around like little country bars and stuff. And why not, you know? But yeah, we just kind of spin them around, just turn them punk, you know, get them faster and like crunch it up a bit. So I'll just, yeah. But yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a ride. I mean, we've only really been at it as the lineup that we have now a couple of months, and then I've only been in this band for probably less than a year now. So it's kind of flown by, but still new, you know.
Yeah.
So when you're going to re-record this stuff, are you just re-recording the vocals or recording all the music as well?
We decided probably just to go for like the whole thing and start fresh, you know. I've changed tuning a little bit as well, you know, like I like that really like beefy, like, you know, bass tone and stuff like that. But it's just like, we had to go up, I guess, we had to go back to, I guess, standard tuning. And so it might as well, you know, we did try to do a couple tracks like over what we had before. It just did not sound right. And it felt weird too to like just re-record over somebody, you know what I mean? Their work wasn't, you know, their work was, you know, relevant too. So yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about that, but bands do it, and that's their choice to do that. But yeah, I just think it'd be better just to redo the whole thing, something that we're all really, really, really happy with, and yeah, be more comfortable and make you more confident on the road too. It's just like, you know, here, this is what we have. Where like, I think before, like, just something seemed like it was missing, and now we have it. So
yeah, it's easier to get behind.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's like, you know, we're a lot more ready to go with it, you know, and recording sounds like fun now instead of, you know, a chore. And like, you should never feel that way. You should never feel like a chore, something you should want to do. It's, you know, it's your spare time. So yeah, I can't wait. Like, re-recording's gonna be sick. Like, I love recording. I love sitting there and just like looking at buttons and seeing like the whole process of it. I've always loved it. But with this band, it's like, yeah, I'm proud of what we're playing, and it is great. So yeah, like I said, I can't wait to end up playing a show. We got a lot of shows coming up too. We got a show like this Friday, the first shop. Then we're going up to OKC to play with Mothership. And have you heard those guys before?
Yeah. We saw them in Dallas back in August.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah, they're
really good.
They're amazing. I'm so excited, and I also love playing in OKC as well. We play quite a bit of shows out there, so. But I cannot wait to see those guys. I'm so excited. We're all so excited. Cannot wait to play that show, and it's cool too because it's gonna be kind of a mix. You know, I don't prefer it, but I like it when there's shows where it's just like kind of like you kind of got like a doomy rocker band and like you know a hardcore band and just like everything. It doesn't flow together that well, but it is like different, you know, you get like a different experience, so like all sorts of different, you get turned on to new things maybe a little bit better that way. Whereas like it's, you know, you get repetitive, same punk bands will play together and the same hardcore bands will play together, and you know, it's kind of nice when it gets a little bit more diverse that way. So I like it. I'm excited about it. So
well, all the stuff I've known that you've been a part of before this was all heavy
metal.
So
Yes.
So what? And I know you've likely been a punk fan your whole life, but what brought you into playing this, or have you played in punk bands before now?
I played in punk bands. I started playing music, like shows and stuff like that, probably about between 15 and 16.
Oh, okay.
And at that time, or around that time, I'd moved out to the Phoenix area. And I just started really hitting it with the shows and stuff. I got into a band that played a lot of the venues out there, and we were opening up for some bigger gigs, and things are going pretty well. I mean, for being that age and like being exposed to that was really cool. And from there, I went to, I guess, thrash, like more thrash hardcore scene. I feel like, you know, thrash metal and stuff on bass was like, will always be my favorite stuff to play. Like, it was, you know, a little bit, I was influenced by a lot of that stuff when I was younger too, like Metallica, you know, and you know, like Cliff Burton and stuff. You know, I'd sit there and be like, how did he do that? How does he do that? That's so cool. And like, you know, I didn't really have access to like a lot of stuff like tabs. They really weren't online like they are now. So I like really just sit there and like try to learn it by ear. And so like I just really love thrash metal. So I did that for a couple of years. I did some tours on the West Coast and went out to, I think I went back to Arizona for a little while, played in Doom Band for a pretty hot minute. Played a couple of shows with like, played with Sour Vein, played with the Northside Kings with that band too as well. That was really fun. That was actually on the same night. And then went back to, well, it was a whole life story, right? I went back to, I went back to Arizona, I did that. And then somewhere between moving to the East Coast and getting away from everything, I decided I was going to move to Portland, and I really wanted to get back into playing music. So, and that felt like a really great place to do that. You know, like I was exposed to like a lot of other metal musicians. I was also exposed to like a lot of like other female musicians and stuff like that were around my age that had already been touring in metal and stuff like that, and like already had a lot of influence, I guess, you know, or like, and also like a lot of positive encouragement and stuff to get back into it. So, and that was around the time that I got, you know, back with, I guess, or into with the whole Graves at Sea thing. And that was doom metal, you know, sludge and stuff. And that was just a big part of my life. You know, I love doom, and I love playing heavy metal. And, you know, actually right now I'm the drummer of Redneck Nosferatu, or, you know, kind of planning a thrash side project just because we both love metal so much. Like we are just like total, you know, I guess like little Hesher kids and stuff in the band, you know, or like always like headbanging and stuff, you know, or in between breaks we're always, you know, or he's always playing like thrash and like, you know, kind of grind and deep beat stuff. So they were huge fans of that. So with punk, it's like I had been asked by the guitar player Clovis, who's one of my oldest friends, to like come by and check it out. And I'd seen them before, and I was kind of like, I liked it, you know. I thought they were pretty cool. I saw them at Downtown Lounge a couple of times. Mm-hmm. They had played there a bit, and they'd been around for a while, but I just kind of clicked. Like, you know, I played a couple shows with them. And it just felt right. You know, I felt like I was playing with my friends, and I feel like these days that's the best thing for you, because it's like, you know, like I said, it's like it's your time, and, you know, it's like a luxury these days to be in a band and be a musician. You know, it is expensive. Touring is, you know, kind of spendy, and then on top of that, if you want to get widespread with it, there's a lot of other things that come along with that too, like management and like, you know, all those kinds of things. And if you can all do it yourselves, and that's how we've been getting done so far, we've just been making our own shirts and doing everything ourselves. So if you can pull that off by yourself and you're all getting along for the most part, yeah, why not, you know? So that's kind of what got me back into the punk thing. It was just kind of like I was angry about stuff. I guess I'd had kind of a rough couple of years, and it was it felt like kind of like, you know, good, though it felt like it was the right thing for me. Like it was good for me and stuff like that. I was able to, like, you know, whatever aggression I had, like, you know, towards situations that were going on in my life, like, you know, I had like an outlet for it, you know. And that's what got me into playing music in the first place, is that outlet. So started with punk, definitely went to metal, and then, you know, here I am back into punk. So whatever, like, but it does have, like I said, like a little bit more of a metal element as well. So me and Dustin are, again, huge fans of that. So there's definitely a harder edge to it. I wouldn't really, since we do have like a horror theme, I guess, like all of our stuff's like horror, about horror movies, or like, again, cheesy, like serial killer, like, you know, stab mode songs, you know, like, but like at the same time we do have like a little bit more of like a thrashier, what's the word, influence, I guess. So it's just a mix, you know, and it works. So, and we're happy of it, and we're proud, and we just like to play it, you know, whether it's in front of 5 people or 500 people, or, you know, it's great. It's a great time, you know. So we'll see what happens, I guess. We'll probably be working on the thrash stuff maybe more towards spring with me and Dustin and a couple other of his friends. And yeah, 2017 is gonna rip it up. Like I can't wait. Like I definitely feel like the next couple years are gonna be expanding quite a bit with the music community and stuff. And it seems like bands are getting better and better, you know, as friends that I've already made out here that are in bands. I mean, they keep getting bigger and bigger shows, and it's just like, yes, it's great. More bands are coming through here. I mean, just last year we had Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath and almost King Diamond.
Yeah,
like,
no, that sucked.
It sucked so bad.
That was a heartbreaker.
That was actually, that was going to be my birthday present to myself. And I'd say like one of my biggest influences of all time is Merciful Fate and King Diamond. Yeah. So like, and Abigail, I remember a couple years ago, all these bands were coming out with like, you know, like Morbid Angel did it. They came out, we're going to do Covenant in its entirety. Yeah. And I was just like, all these bands are coming out doing their like hits, you know? And I was like, man, what if King Diamond, because he'd done like a couple, you know, runs and stuff, which was incredible. But I was like, man, what if, give anything to see Abigail in its entirety, like once in my life. And couldn't get the ticket. I don't know if you guys ended up, I know they canceled down in Texas because I tried to get it down there too. And no, I could not get to see King Diamond. That did not happen, at least not the Abigail tour.
Well, we were going to that show. We actually had an interview with Matt Thompson, the drummer. Yeah, lined up. Well, so that was a bummer too.
It was like, first of all, I mean, I was just stoked that he was on tour. Then he comes to Tulsa, and then he canceled. I'm like, God, that'll probably never happen now. Yeah, you know, I mean, well, who knows? But I was just, it sucked.
I heard that he like tried to come through here before, and somebody earlier on when it was announced was like, don't get your hopes up because he's canceled out here before. Yeah. And I was so mad because I was like, don't you curse me that way. It's like, I had people calling me. Like, I remember too, like I woke up to phone calls and my phone was blowing up because they were like, oh my God, my friends from all over the coast and even in town here were like, Abigail, what's happening?
Yeah, well, maybe he'll do another tour, but you probably won't get lucky.
Yeah, it'll be exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But anything's better than nothing.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just, you know, like there has been a little bit. I've noticed since I've been here. I've been out here for maybe 2 years now, and I've seen a lot more of a focus on Tulsa. You know, there's been quite a bit more bands. I had a few friends come through here too, because I'm just like, come check it out. Like, you know, if you're coming up from Texas or you're on the 40. Oklahoma City, stop, you know, come out to Tulsa. It's a couple hours, you know, north of that. It is a cool spot to hit, you know, and there are great venues here and there's some killer bands, you know, but hopefully the momentum that keeps going, you know. I mean, to come back with rules, like I can't believe that they played here.
Yeah.
I was working, I think, that night, so I didn't go. Definitely could not believe that they were here though. I was just so like, oh, like, you know, people had never had a chance to see Iron Maiden before, you know. It was like not gonna happen, or you'd really have to go out of your way. So man, yeah, I'm definitely a Team Tulsa right now. Like, I can't believe that things are growing like they are, you know. So I'm just hoping for the best for everybody, and definitely seeing like an up in morale, you know, with everybody playing around town. So
yeah, I've noticed that from just doing this in the last couple of years, how much like you said, how many good quality, not just the amount of bands, but how many that are actually really great.
Yeah.
That people don't even know about.
Yeah.
So
and
it's just
it is
really
a shame.
cool that it's starting to. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's starting to pick up, and maybe that's just because I'm paying more attention than I was 2 or 3 years ago.
Right. No, it definitely is. I mean, from an outsider looking in, I'm a total outsider, coming here. Yeah, from somebody that's had like experience with this, like outside of here, and definitely being spoiled by it. Since I've been out here, I've just seen such a great like progression of it, and that like feels better. You know what I mean? In a lot of ways. So, but yeah, I mean, you got bands out here like Forever Discuss are tearing it up. They keep getting on great shows, and Senior Fellows has played some fests out here. I just saw them for their CD release show. They crushed it, Reigns is incredible too. I mean, it just keeps building and building and building, and more bands I think keep coming back here as well. I think a lot of the older bands, I guess, old school dudes and stuff from like the metal communities, and they've played out here with like 10, 15 years ago, and they didn't ever want to come back because of some experience they had or whatever. People are getting over it, like, I guess the same thing could be said about Phoenix when I was out there. Sometimes bands are like, it's too hot. That's a better excuse, though. But I mean, it's hot, but it's just like, yeah, people were like, no, I didn't have a good experience there, and they came back, and I was just like, oh, this is really cool. So that's just something you got to build on, and everybody, the more people have like a better morale about things moving forward, the better like they'll come together and like make those wheels start turning more and more. So, I'm definitely hoping for that over this next year, to see that more of that, I guess, 'cause it's just been a good build up so far. So.
Do you think there's a good punk scene around here? I mean, I know the metal scene's great.
We had
the Normandy.
There's like the biggest festival, like for street punk, that one of the biggest. I don't want to say the biggest. I definitely don't want to misquote that, but it is a big one. And this town for 4 days out of the year is just overrun with like all these little punk kids all over the place. Like I've worked, I think 2 or 3 of them now, and just for bands and stuff, like doing merch or actually working for Vanguard, and it's just cool to see. I mean, that's been pretty big buzz, and I just read the lineup for that yesterday. They started announcing bands for that, and it's already just like, wow, cool. Like I can't believe you get this band out here and this band. Yeah, I feel like in a lot of ways too, you got a couple bands out here that have been around for a long time. Like, like Merlin Mason, they've been around for a while, and there's some bands that there's a couple bands that I've seen punk-wise are starting to come back out here because of that festival. I definitely give credit to that, Some more bands are coming out. But I'd like to see that thrive too, it's all music and forms. There's such creative, intelligent people out here. And yeah, they do get overlooked. A lot of talent does get overlooked because people are going to be looking at what's going on up in Oregon. They're going to be looking, what's going down in the South, and Texas, bigger metropolitan cities, for bigger bands and stuff. And there's still always been really high quality stuff in the Midwest, So, but again, it just gets overlooked, and it's a little bit hard. But as long as people keep trying and keep going at it, then yeah, you will get recognition, and that's Normandies are incredible too. I love playing. We've been playing with more punk bands, especially recently, but we played a lot with a couple shows now with the Normandies, and they are just amazing. I can't wait for those guys to blow up or reach whatever goals that they have, as a band and stuff. They're great people too. So yeah, I just have a good positive, I guess, outlook on it. So far it's just all it's got to be. It's all in how much work you can put into it. What your resources are as well. So hopefully over this year too, everybody can just like start getting along and sharing the small spaces that we have, because it's not really productive to like have like personal things come in between getting more bands and stuff out here.
I see more of the bands around here getting along nowadays than they used to.
Yeah,
like 15 years ago or so when I was playing out, everybody was just shit talk all over the place. So And that's refreshing to see now. Everybody just loves everybody.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome. For sure. I mean, I think there's always going to be an element of shit talking because it is competitive and, band people kind of suck sometimes, I get oh my gosh, I get all sorts of grief, and I've had plenty of grief when it comes to playing in music and all that. And it has been kind of cutthroat, I guess being a female musician, I don't want to go into like a big diatribe or anything like that about it, but there has been aspects that would be harder, and there has been other things that I would never say would be easier, but it's a different experience, I guess, because it is a boys club, and and yeah, so I mean, but for the most part, it hasn't been bad. I mean, I've gotten to experience some great things too, and as long as they keep like overlooking the irritating parts of it and kind of, every year growing a thicker and thicker skin.
Yeah.
It's not so bad. And I just kind of like get snarkier and I better comebacks for it and stuff like that. But yeah, I do like that. There's so many like different kinds of bands out here, and this has been one of the most like inviting, I guess, loving metal communities. It sounds so cheesy. I know I'm gonna get like totally.
It's good though.
I'm not gonna get beat up for that. I'm just kidding. But like, yeah, I know they've always been really sweet to me, and they're some of my first friends out here, and they have just been, just really supportive, and almost did that stint, I guess, with Smoke Offering, and that just kind of just didn't work out. No, I just can't, like, I think it was just a timing conflict, like it just was not a good time. And they ended up finding a bass player that was the right fit for them. And it was just like, oh, okay, and like we still all, high fives and hugs, it's like, wasn't a big drama fest. And that was just like a relief, but, like I said, I have like really positive, like, high hopes for everything. I can't wait to start touring and playing more shows around town. I feel like there's going to be quite a bit more like punk bands and stuff popping up, over this year, and that's going to be really cool to see. So more bands to play with and stuff like that. We kind of don't really like try to pigeonhole ourselves into just playing with one genre too. Like, I guess it's kind of going back to like how interesting it is, like open doors and stuff like that. But then also, as Tulsa is growing, there's still not that many bands, like local shows and stuff like that. You can't really be picky, but yeah, for sure. I'm really excited.
Well, I wanted to ask, you kind of brought it up, but one of the things I wanted to ask is you've toured a lot. Mm-hmm. And I mean, have you had a lot of instances where you've had to deal with bullshit from like promoters or other guys in other bands?
Well, oh gosh, yeah, I mean, for sure. Like
is it something that you were able to get that thick skin pretty quick, or was it hard at first?
Well, that came from like a lot of experience. It started for me, like, I guess the thick skin had to start when there'd be instances like I would be rolling my equipment in, and they'd be like, no girlfriends, like okay, like, you're just like, what? And then, no merch girls, like, all that kind of stuff, or I'd be considered the merch girl or whatever, and that's not an insult, it's a job too, but it was just kind of like, a little bit...
They automatically go to that.
Yeah, they automatically went to that, so it was kind of...
Not to cut you off, but Sean from White Zombie, the name of her book?
No, I haven't.
I'm with the band.
Yeah. It's you have to explain that quite a bit. Yeah, that does become your first. Sometimes it becomes your first thing when you go in, and but there was quite a few years of that. Stuff with promoters and getting crap from that. There's stories, but I don't know how cool it is to tell those stories, with those past bands and stuff, like, I don't want to put them in any kind of negative light or whatever, but it's just like, oh, I've seen things, not getting paid, in one of my bands, I guess I'll say, like, we played a show in San Francisco, and we sold out show, and we played with this other band, The Spirit, and just huge, just go out. Like I was playing on the floor and there was people like in my face, you know, like just had to keep going, you know, like it was packed wall to wall, and we were trying to get paid at the end of the night, and they asked us to split like, you know, like $50 or something, and we were just like, we were on tour, you know, and that's not what our guarantee was. I'll just say that our guarantee was not that. And so when we confronted the, you know, manager of the place, like, turned into like almost a big fight because they were trying to like pay the DJ like some like $200 or $300 or something. And I was like, there wasn't one. It was just stuff like that. I mean, this is garbage, you know, like. Oh yeah, there was like, I came downstairs and there was almost like a brawl between like all these dudes with bushy, huge beards and just tall like doomer dudes, and just like they're all about to go down. It's just it was hilarious, a sight to see. But there's just like a competitive thing too that it's just, you know, amongst musicians, and for the most part, yeah, I mean, having to wheel your gear in is kind of a nuisance, but I mean, over the years, I've just kind of been like, I'm in the, you know, I just go in there and I'm in, I carry myself differently now, maybe too. So it's just kind of like I make my presence known when I walk in, and I'm definitely in this band. So, or I'll have fun with it. You know, that's been helpful too. It's like, you gotta make a joke out of it. That's sometimes like, you know, or have fun with them. You know, I've had kids come up to me and assume that I was the merch girl and I'd sold them stuff. And it was like, we were headlining a big show, and it was just like, they had no idea that I was in the band at all. And then I'd get up there and they'd be like, why is the merch girl setting up the chords for the, wait, you just like see the look on their face, like kind of just change. And, you know, cause yeah, I mean, there are a lot of musicians that are females, but I mean, in the extreme music community, not as much, you know what I mean? Like in Doom, like when the last band that I was playing in, there was a lot more, but when I first started out with that stuff, oh no, like there was no like women like at all that I could think of other than that were already, you know, like Electric Wizard and stuff like that. There are bands, but there weren't as many, you know, like there was only a handful of females that like I knew of that like played bass or guitar or whatever that in that genre of music. So like they were big influences as well, but it got lonely, I guess, or it can, because it's just like, you know, I get really excited when I get around, you know, other female musicians and stuff like that, because I'm just like, hey buddy, what the fuck? We can talk shit about all the guy stuff, and you know, you run into them on tours and stuff like that too. I had a girlfriend that, you know, I always was really excited to see on the road, because, you know, we could vent, you know, about all the stuff we were dealing with, and you know, it's just like I've been really fortunate to like be surrounded with like some really incredible badass, like, you know, women that were involved in metal and that were involved in punk, and over the years became my friends, you know, other than just being a total fangirl. Like, it's like, oh, you know, I can actually hit them up when I'm having a bad day or whatever, but actually talk and go back and forth with quite a few as well, you know, just like personally, just like, you know, about I guess our band drama, you know, the stuff that we deal with, and you know, how much the guys suck, and it's all like, yeah, it's just all good fun. We don't really feel that way, but it's, you know, it's nice to have that, since it is a minority against the majority of, you know, most dudes in bands are dudes, you know, so but things have gotten a lot more diverse. It's not as bad as it was. It's like, you know, maybe I'd say 10 years ago. I've been at this if I started with 15, I'm 31 now, so about half my life doing this. And in the beginning, no, it was not like that at all. And even then, it was still progressive. What was that, like Clinton era? You know, like, yeah. Still trying to get progressive, but now it's definitely see a lot more girls out there, and they're tough, and you know, it's badass. It's something that I'm proud to be a part of, and you know, I try my best to be a better example towards younger girl musicians as well. I used to volunteer actually for like a little while, like helping out like kids and stuff, like learn how to play instruments, and you know, like basically like school rock type stuff, and did lessons and stuff like that a while back with kids. And I just, you know, like, I think we need more of them, and it was a big I know for a fact is like I could go on and complain for like hours about all my grievances of, you know, the things and the ups and downs that I've been through, like playing music, but it was such a good outlet for me. It kept me out of so much trouble, you know, aside from whatever fights, whatever whatever, you know, ruffian stuff we were doing. But yeah, it kept me out of trouble, you know. It like kept me like grounded in a way, and like, you know, I don't know where I would be without it now. And like it's I feel like it's a better outlet. Like arts in schools and stuff like that is almost like obsolete, so it's like for kids that like need that outlet and music and stuff like that. Yeah, I like to try and like be as positive as I can to people that are getting into it, you know, like everything from kids to like, you know, people that have never picked up a guitar. I'm always trying to sucker my girlfriends into like, you know, try to play guitar or encourage them, you know, whenever they're like, oh, I want to sing in a band, do it. Like, please, you know, like hang out with me, you know. So yeah, that's been the progression of things has gotten better, I guess, is my whole point. Like we started rambling there, but like things have gotten a lot better. There's a lot less to complain about, I guess. I think people are starting to like really like see that it isn't so like we don't have cooties, I guess, you know, like a lot of the stigmas are starting to disappear, I guess, that like, you know, women musician or like mean or whatever, I don't know. There's so many stereotypes, I don't even know where to start, but a lot of stereotypes seem to be going away. It's a lot more accepted, you know, people get excited about it and stuff like that, and that's cool, you know.
Well, you went overseas with Graves at Sea, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was it Europe?
Yeah.
Like, do you have any great memories of like great shows or anything from any of those?
Yeah, for sure. Like we started that tour, and it's weird because it's like a couple years ago now. You know, like they're still going. I think they got like, I think they're in some kind of thing for best album or whatever, and that was the stuff that I was playing with them on. So that was great, but we started that tour in Denmark, in Copenhagen. So we got off the plane and went directly to this large venue / they called them squats, but it was more like little hostels with like really nice hotel beds, like tight beds and clean linens. And so it wasn't, I went out there kind of scared. Like when I heard like the playing squats thing, I was like, I don't know. Like I'll do it. You know, I want to go to Europe and I really like what we're playing and stuff, but okay. Like this, I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but we played with at the Heavy Days in Doomtown, which was a big festival out in Copenhagen. And I remember reading the lineup for it like a couple months before we went out, and it was with like Pagan Altar and Conan and like just some of like the biggest bands that were out there. And that it was a 4-day festival that we headlined, which was like, I've played in front of a lot of people, but that place was 3 stories high, like, and every story was packed. Wow. It was incredible. And to be like in Denmark and, you know, having such like a heavy, like big, I'm getting just chills even just thinking about it. It was just an incredible experience. And, we went on a 30-day tour with Meth Drinker, and they were our support for that tour, which was this band from New Zealand that just crushed it. They were just incredible. Like, I almost like, there was some nights on tour, I think it was kind of when like my bass stuff started, I started getting insecure. Like, I was just like, man, these guys are so good. Like, why are, like, they should be headlining. I shouldn't say that, but I mean, they were just so good. They were really nice guys, and we were a 4-piece, they were a 3-piece, and we all just kind of went around all of Europe together. And every show we played was just badass, you know, like every country we went to. It was just, I never thought, I guess that was kind of my end goal. I thought that was my biggest like goal in life as a musician, was to tour in Europe someday. And to get the opportunity to do that was just like, oh man, one of the best experiences of my life, like for sure. Like we went through all of Germany. We played most of our dates in Germany. Those shows were incredible as well. We had like a little bit of a little bit of drama going out there with Antifa. Like, our guitar player had worn a shirt that was like from a band called, I think, Noctimistium in like 2007. And since it was a cult following type bands, people would go back, and there was definitely photos of them that had circulated from way back in the day that, you know, and somebody found a picture of him wearing the shirt, and then we got labeled as racist, like National Socialist black metal fans and all this stuff. And I'm sitting here like, oh no, like our band was not, it was a doom. It was sludge and doom. So all of our the content of our lyrics was not racist or like anything. It wasn't political in any way. It wasn't for or against anything. We as people, I mean, we all look like a bunch of rednecks. I get it, but we weren't. You know, we didn't, like, I'm covered in peace punk tattoos and stuff like that. I remember the band was actually, and we definitely weren't racist. So like that was tough. That was one of the that made it scary because we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into, and like having that kind of like mark against you circulating while you're in a country like completely on another end of the world from everything that you know, and like everybody in that country thinks something about you that's not true, and you can't even like language explain like why that you didn't feel that way. And it was a misunderstanding, but at the same time, like it was kind of like a little bit of an eye-opener, like maybe a little bit more humbling, because where I come from, I could put my Crass record next to, you know, whatever record I wanted to. I listened to Slayer and whatever I wanted. Like, I loved extreme metal, and some of it was pretty taboo, and like to us it was like, haha, you know, we didn't like, I didn't get emotionally attached to what they were saying. You know, I didn't, I'm not saying I listen to racist stuff. I will not do that. But like, that's what made it ironic as well, you know, because it was just like it was just, we were corny. Like, not corny, but like we're all like into corny metal and stuff. And like, this is, you know, we had another festival that we were supposed to play and that got canceled. There was a couple places that we had to go into where we had to get like permission to go into first. So it was, yeah, it's ups and downs. Yeah, I mean, we got into Poland. I think that was one of the scarier ones, because our shows a couple of our shows had to be moved to like different areas. And, yeah, because I mean, it was going on blogs that we couldn't see or have access to. You know, we had no way to defend ourselves. We just kind of went blindly through Europe and just hoped for the best, because like, we couldn't stop the rumors. Like, we couldn't like do anything about it. And like, and we also knew that we weren't, you know, so it was kind of one of those things that's like, we don't even know where to begin. You know what I mean? Like, we don't even know how to, like, other than just like have people ask us questions and just be honest back, you know, if they had anything to ask us about, we, you know, say how we felt, and, you know, that was not true, that we weren't like that at all. Like, we, you know, we weren't a bunch of cowboys. Like, you know, we just, you know, we're all nice people, couldn't be sweeter, you know. But I think like Poland was one of the worst though, because it was just like I had a kid like spit at me. He called me a fascist and like a racist and stuff, and I was just like, whoa, like I can't believe this is happening. But for the most part, aside from that, we still met like some of the coolest people around the world, literally. And people came in from all over the world for that Heavy Days in Doomtown Festival. And then also as well, I got to play with Pagan Altar, who, you know, their singer had passed away. Was it last year? That was one of my favorite bands, like growing up, like for sure. Like, I've always kind of like gravitated more to like that fantasy type metal stuff as well, you know, aside from like thrash, like stuff like Manila Road and like, sorry, I'm getting a little hoarse, but, yeah, just like there's just a band that I'd always wanted to see, and I never thought I'd get a chance to. So get to play with them was just like, I'm not worthy. Like, I don't deserve this. But at the same time, I feel like I did, you know, like, and I should have felt that way, you know, like I worked hard for it. I practiced my ass off, literally, you know, to get that, you know, to get us all there. It was one struggle after another to get on that plane. It was just like, living in Portland was really expensive. So to come up with the finances and everything else, like, you know, I ended up having to live out of my car for like a couple of weeks, you know. It was just to get there, you know? But, yeah, and we did a few tours as well through like the West Coast with some pretty like amazing bands. We played Oakland quite a bit, which probably was one of my favorite places like in the world to play. Like it just, Graves at Sea had spent time in Oakland for, you know, quite a few years when they were still active before I was in the band, and they had built up quite a big following there. So I was like to be expected. Like the second you get out of the van and into that venue, we used to play a place called the Metro, which has moved now, but big amphitheater, and just people, just so cool, you know, wall to wall. We played quite a few shows with Noothgrush and Brain Oil, and like pretty much my favorite heavy metal, like not heavy metal, it's like heavy doom bands of I guess American style, like the West Coast, like, you know, the doom and heavy metal and dark metal and stuff like that. That whole wave up there that came out of the Bay Area was just crushing it. Literally, I'm actually was listening to Brain Oil on the way here. Like I still listen to that stuff pretty actively. So, but you know, I had to, I guess, move and just kind of like start over and like kind of hit a wall. Like I guess maybe more in my personal life, where it was just kind of like one thing after the other, and like finances and living in Portland, and it just kind of got over my head. So Graves at Sea and me were just no mas, and it just like, it was heartbreaking. I did not take it well, like at all. Like I was just kind of bumming out for like quite a while. I mean, why wouldn't you? And like wanted to start over and like pick myself up from that, you know, and like do something maybe more down the road that I was more, you know, prepared for, or comfortable with, and do something that like, you know, a little bit more out of my comfort zone. And then of course here I am, you know, doing this now. So it was quite a shift. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember so far contacting like old buds that were familiar with me playing in my last band, and them, you know, expecting another doom band. I'm proud of what I did with that doom band. I played doom pretty well. So, so I'm sure people would disagree. I've definitely heard that I wasn't that good, and that's fine too. But yeah, so that was something that I excelled at. So having to explain the stuff that I was doing now is kind of funny, you know, like get a kick out of like reactions to it sometimes, because it's just like, you're doing what? You're doing like horror punk? What does that mean? Like didn't see that coming at all, you know, but no, I'm happy with it. And I think that's the key to any kind of success. I think success is kind of relative. With Graves at Sea, that was successful, you know, like I played some huge shows with them, and got to go to Europe, and you know, having the offers to go play in Maryland Death Fest and all of that. So that was like, you know, right before we left, we had been planning to go out to Maryland, and then also there was another European tour coming up. I knew all that, you know, just still wasn't, you know, the right thing for me to be doing, I guess. So, yeah, I just kind of picked up, and my friend had lived out in Tulsa, and I came out here to visit, just to, I guess, clear my head for a minute and see where I wanted to go. I had plans to maybe go overseas and work. I had plans to go down to Austin and go live and work. And I came out to Tulsa to visit, and I just kind of never left because I got hit by a snowstorm as well. So I think it was a couple years ago when that hit here. So, yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about, you know, if I remember correctly, pretty big Typo Negative fan, Peter Steele.
Yes.
Talk about Peter Steele and your other influences on bass and that kind of thing. We're huge Typo Negative fans.
Yes. So oh my goodness.
We could have a whole episode on that.
I still remember where I was when Peter Steele passed away. You know, exactly what I was doing. No different than I remember 9/11. And I had a huge like love, you know, for like Typo and like Carnivore and stuff like that. Those records were just incredible. And I remember seeing him when I was a little kid on TV, like me and my older brother would spend like a lot of like quality time together and stuff like that, watching like, you know, music television and like, you know, weird animation and all sorts of stuff, like late night, you know, we hung out, we were buddies. So I remember seeing like Typo Negative come on late at night one night, and I was just like, what is this? This guy looked like Lurch came out based on a chain, and I was just like, what? It just blew my mind, and I fell in love with it. And Typo's like bass style and stuff like that as well. It's like I kind of like, I mean, there's some things that I kind of like will rip off like a little bit, you know, like I've already like seen what his setup is and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, like how do I get a little spin? Because I do take like things from all sorts of different influences, you know, and like work my own thing. So, but since Typo's such a huge influence, I can't, like with thrash, it's probably won't use, I have to use fuzz. I have to have that sound. I have to have that, like, it's just something that like I'm just so in love with, and I just feel so comfortable with that, like, it's just the way to go for me. And I guess that's what kind of will set us like a little bit apart from a couple other bands, because we have also that, you know, big Motorhead influence. Like we have a lot of Motorhead like type, like worship, like type riffs and stuff in our songs, because, you know, like bass as well, like late night television, just like, you know, seeing Lemmy for like the first time, you know, it was just like, what? Like I started wearing black like immediately, like just never wore any other color, like got a bullet belt, like yeah, they between that too is like Cliff Burton, and all those things kind of like mixed into whatever I'm doing at the time. Even those kind of influences like came into Graves at Sea on bass when I came in. Like things were like, you know, my riffs and stuff like that made things quite a bit heavier and like that way too. But a little bit, the tempo kind of changed quite a bit as well because of that influence coming in, and like, you know, the rhythm section like kind of changing because they also changed out their drummer in Graves. So it was me and a new drummer. So we also, you know, usually vibe pretty, my big thing is vibing off, you know, my drummers and stuff like that. Cause, you know, with rhythm section, I take bass pretty seriously. I'm total bass dork. But, yeah, like Typo, like, I mean, I have just so many great memories with that, you know, just like having it on tape and, you know, like Carnivore on tape or whatever, just like blasting it. And I never actually grew out of that. I have like another memory of blasting Carnivore with me and my girlfriend, like, you know, me and her just like, like bottles of wine, just like screaming like World War IV, like out of a roof of a car going down a major street in Portland. I mean, yeah, big fan of Typo, but and Carnivore and stuff. But I always thought, I guess getting back to Typo Negative, I loved it because it was like I felt like it was really romantic, and like even though I know the contents of the lyrics are like between them, yeah, they were raunchy, but at the same time, like I just loved Peter because he was just such like a big like softy, like romantic, like, you know, I mean that was at least the fandom that I got out of it, you know, or from him, or the experience I, you know, got of seeing, you know, his performances and stuff like that. So yeah, you could tell he was just like a really good soul, and like it's kind of like endearing because it's like it's fun to do this. It's, you know, if you get in the right position with people and stuff like that, and, you know, you do things that you like hearing, then yeah, it's fun to like talk, you know, things that are like taboo or whatever, and like, you know, get outside the box a little bit, you know, all that stuff paved the way so I could do it, you know, like it's totally okay, you know, right now for me to like sing about the stuff that I do, and it's because of people like Peter Steele and, you know, Lemmy, and having such a huge influence too, bass-wise, on people that play bass and sang, you know, kind of maybe made it a little bit easier going into this, because it was just like, you know, like I definitely drove around quite a bit, like screaming Ace of Spades out of my car, you know, but yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, those are quite definitely some of my biggest influences. Obviously, Thin Lizzy as well. I just maybe like kind of gravitated towards maybe more of like the romantic kind of sides of things when it came to bass and like metal and stuff like that, as influences go. And I always found like, I guess those four to be quite, you know, romantic or like endearing stories, except for like, I guess Lemmy, but hey, whatever. That guy was so awesome, like flawless, but you know. But yeah, we have lost like quite a, I mean, other than Peter Steele, I mean, like we have lost a lot of musicians. Like, that's been blowing my mind quite a bit. Like how many big influences have been going away in the last couple years, and it is sad. It's a total bummer, and it totally sucks. But I think Lemmy wouldn't have wanted it that way. Everybody was like rock and roll, passed away with him, and I don't believe that. I think that that's another reason to like, if you're involved in music and you want to play it, like get playing it, because everybody that like was worth a shit's like going out the wayside. They're finding their peace. They've already done it, so we could at least like make it count. Like go out and have some fun and like play loud stuff, and bang on things, and like if that's what makes you happy, because I trying not to think of it as like something that we've lost. It's like we can gain something out of all that, and move forward and move it legacy wise forward. Like I want to see more like bands, different things. Like I don't want to like keep feeling like I've seen it all. It's like because like I got to experience that period of music. Like I don't want to like miss out on the next one. Yeah.
Did you discover Typo or Carnivore first?
That was Typo.
Okay.
Definitely. I got the Carnivore a little bit later, like Retaliation and stuff like that. And I just kind of like back in the day, at least for me, like there wasn't internet like there is now. So like if you wanted to like learn about some new metal bands, you kind of had to look at the shirts that they were wearing on their records, or you had to like kind of go through like their thank you section. I mean, you had to really like kind of get in there and like look, because I picked up a lot of records growing up where it was like always kind of a gamble, because it was like, okay, this one has a dragon on it. This one's got the devil on it. Which one do I get? You know what I mean? Because you didn't know. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like, I kind of grew up in, I grew up in some pretty cool towns, but there was definitely some like during those like years where it was kind of was just really getting into it and like having to learn a lot of things by myself. So, yeah, like, I mean,
did it pay off picking the right cover?
Not always, no. Like a lot of like, I mean, 9 out of 10 Dragon records aren't gonna be good. Like, they're
always
not.
go for the devil.
Yeah, that's right.
Unless it's Dio.
Unless it's Dio, yeah, sure. Like,
but then you already knew it was good. So.
I think that's it's an anniversary for him right now, and today.
Today is?
I thought it was.
Yeah, I heard something. I can't remember exactly. They started talking about the hologram thing too.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I know.
A Dio hologram? I don't know about
that.
What's happening? Are they really doing that?
Yeah, well, they already did it at some festival in Europe last year.
Oh, they did not. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it was like a full on.
No way.
Now, and the same guys wanting to make it a whole tour and stuff.
No.
I know. I don't like
it
at all.
I don't like that at all. Like, I think it's, for Tupac. All right, it was Coachella.
Yeah.
That's that.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I mean, I don't want to get like.
No, they're gonna have a whole band behind this hologram and everything.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it.
Happen. I think it's like. I don't think it's in the talks. I think it's actually happening.
Yeah, I don't like it at all.
Oh.
And that must have been why I heard about it today, because it was, I don't know.
See, like, that's what I mean though. It's like when you hold on like to like the old era so hard, you kind of like, and that's great. I mean, at least from a musician's point of view, is like, I don't want a hologram Dio. I want a new Dio. Yeah. I want somebody that's doing it their own way and different, that can carry that kind of weight. I mean, that's what he would have wanted. I mean, he was, a credible person, credible musician, and they're still out there. Like, it didn't end with Dio. We don't like need a hologram of him.
No,
I could see the one-off thing at the festival.
Yeah,
that's cool, but leave it at that.
Oh man,
yeah,
well,
the whole tour. It's
a new times, man. Like,
that'll come to Tulsa. I'll probably go. So.
Oh,
I want.
I might too. I don't know.
I never even did see Dio,
and I'll see you there. I'm sure.
I'll just be over in the back, just like, I hate this. It's so kind of cool. I did get to see. Dio and Black Sabbath and stuff like that. Festivals growing up as a kid. But I did see, what was it? There was a couple cover bands that were in circulation. And the members of the last band that he was in before he passed away, or the last lineup, I guess, did a tour without him after the fact. It was kind of cool. I mean, they had like the original Dragon backdrop for like one of their big tours and stuff while he was still in the band. And I hate saying it. It's so hard. And that was a while ago, you know.
I think that's who did the holograms done with.
Really?
The Dio Disciples.
Oh, wow.
The Dio Disciples. Yeah,
man.
that's the one that's doing.
Is that right?
I think so. I think.
Well,
yeah.
good luck to them with that. I mean, that's something different and it's edgy, but yeah, like I don't necessarily agree with that.
But the bad thing is, it might start some kind of precedent.
That's what. Yeah, exactly.
You know.
No.
Motorhead or some bullshit. You know.
Oh no,
that'd be so bad.
That'd be so bad.
Yeah. Well, you know, and that's the point that a lot of people have made is, you know, these guys are going, you know, and like you just said a minute ago, people hold on to that so hard because who's next? I mean, who's the next big headliner? Avenged Sevenfold? Oh shit! I mean, it's just I don't know who's the next big ones, and I hear that kind of talk a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, I already prepared myself for years, but still not well enough for like. What are we going to do when Lemmy goes, guys?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of conversations about that. Like, what are we going to do? A lot of my friends are huge Motorhead fans. So, a lot of talks.
Yeah.
It's going to suck, man. I was ugly crying, I think. I went to QT. My friend called me up and I dropped my phone. It was so dramatic. I was going down the highway. I just couldn't even. I had to pull off the side of the road. Like, I just couldn't function. It was so sad. But you should still feel that way. I mean, it's devastating. It's a part of, I mean, when it comes to like metal fandom and stuff like that, like, I mean, metal fans hold things so dear, you know, when it comes to their music and stuff. Because a lot of times, and I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, there's a lot of times in my life where metal records were my only friends. So it was kind of like, really, you have like a real big attachment. And so, you know, you go online and people are like, oh, people are crying over, oh yeah, all of a sudden you're talking about this band stuff. Try not to like get too, I guess, trolled by that, you know, whatever, or triggered or whatever they say about it, whatever they say these days. But, yeah, like there is an attachment. It does hurt, you know, like, I remember where I was with Dio. I had to go through Dio twice. I was on the East Coast that night, so earlier in the morning. And so they announced it once, and I was already like on my computer, just, oh my God, you know, just tears. And they're like, no, he's fine.
Oh, damn.
And then a couple hours went by, and then they announced that Dio was gone, and I just couldn't, like, I was all over again. It was just like, now I was mad. Now I was like throwing stuff, and just like, what? But yeah, so I mean, there is a kind of like a god status, you know, with a lot of those, especially with Lemmy, you know, because he was like the ultimate musician. He was the ultimate not give a fuck. He was like the ultimate like alter ego that a lot of people might benefit like loosening up a little bit and having sometimes, you know. So it's kind of like, oh, cool, you know, like I'm not really a badass, but I can pretend to be one when I listen to Motorhead, you know. That's so cool, you know. So, not to say that I've done that or anything, but it's just, you know, but, yeah, I mean, I don't want to hold on to loss so much, especially over the next couple of years. So, like, me personally, I would definitely want to see things progress, you know, like, I want to see more bands, you know, or support more music as well, you know, for these up and comers, you know, maybe not be so hard on them because they're not Motorhead, be thankful for them, but because they're at least trying, you know, and like trying to do something different and new. It still sucks, you know, I'm not gonna follow things that I don't like, but, yeah, you know, I do want to see a change in that because they totally are going through a shift in music, you know, they happen for me personally, they've gone in cycles, you know, all sorts of different cycles, but now things really are changing, you know, now we don't like, they're all gone, you know what I mean? Like all of our heroes are gone, you know, so, and on their way out, you know, and there is negative things, and you're right, you know, people are talking that way, like, oh man, you know, Rob Halford's gonna be next, and I'm just like, how dare you shut your mouth, like, you talk about him that way, but you know, that's a part of life, you know? Yeah. So, death is a part of life. And, you know, as attached we are in our lives to these musicians and these people, they still have the right to go, you know? So, you know.
Who's the one musician alive right now that you don't want to ever see?
Like, just stay immortal?
Yeah, stay immortal.
Oh, definitely. Rob
life.
Halford, like, forever. Okay. Like, I cannot fathom the idea, the fact, and just even talking about it right now just scares me. Like, I think we've all been, like, kind of, like, gotten a little post-traumatic stress from, like, how many of our favorite musicians have passed away in this last year. Is over-traumatized or whatever's opinion, you know, somebody has on that. That is true, you know, really did suck, you know, for a lot of extreme music fans or, you know, metal fans or rock fans and stuff, it was a little spread out, you know. It was just kind of like, okay, like, man, like, you had Peter Steele pass away, and I just every year it has been countless musicians from these eras that have been passing away. It's just this one in particular was just like, oh,
it was brutal.
It was totally brutal, man. A lot of crying last year. I don't cry anymore. Like, no more crying about it. So, but I'm still going to, and you know. Even though they aren't here anymore, their influence is still, like, immortal. You know, bands like Thin Lizzy, you know, bands like Metallica have all had major parts of their bands, you know, be a loss. And those albums are still timeless, and those albums are still kicking, and they still kept going. You know, I hope that, you know, my future little Lolas or whatever running around, they'll probably like Thin Lizzy, you know. I'm not going to force it on them, not that much. But, I mean, still, you know, those are how timeless it is, you know. Yeah. Like, now kids, like, you know, they're trending. You go to the mall and you can't, like, not see a Nirvana shirt. And it's just like, like, oh, man. Like, but the fact that it had to recycle like that, you know, it's like they're timeless records. They're not going anywhere. You know, they will continue to have an impact. And as long as, you know, other musicians continue to be influenced by that, we'll have hopefully a continuation of other bands that want to have that same impact. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I was watching Westworld the other day, and
how is that?
It's amazing.
Is it? Okay.
But one of the characters, there was a quote where he said, Beethoven and Mozart never died, they just became music.
Yeah.
And I thought that's
pretty
brilliant, because that's true about everything.
Wow.
For every musician.
Sure. You know? Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, it really is. That's kind of heavy. I'm like, ooh. I could have just said that. So I should have brushed up on that show. I'm going to cut this time in half.
No, it's way more interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everybody has their own opinion and feeling about it. And, you know, it's like being a fan of music or being a musician, there's just such a full spectrum of, you know, different things that we attach ourselves to and love, you know, but at the same time, at its very core, why I've been putting up with the grief I have or putting up with my woes or like whatever with music is because of that family, you know, because of that, you know, we all feel like that these bands and stuff like that are family to us too. And it's just a big family, and I love that. And I you know, it's really hard for me to get away from, no matter how many times I stomp my feet and I'm like, well, I'm over this. I can't take it anymore. These boys, or like, you know, I'm done. I'm over it. I always keep falling right back into it because it's just like, yeah, it's home for a lot of people, you know, and that's really endearing, you know. It always accepts the misfits, you know. You can be different, you know. I think I've said this probably on the internet a couple times in this like past couple of weeks, being all like, you know, going through the holidays or whatever. But it's just like, yeah, like I've already like lost track of it, but it's. Can't believe I just forgot it. It was like Westworld. But yeah, no, it's just everybody wants to be an individual, but you don't really see many anymore. You know, it's a hard thing to be an individual because, you know, it scares the shit out of people, and it has for a long time. Maybe not as much now since people's minds are starting to get like a little bit more open. A lot of even extreme metal, like a lot of us, there was no way in hell your parents were going to drop you off in front of a black metal show or Marilyn Manson show, you know. But now it's like, oh, okay, like I worked at venues for years. I see kids like, get dropped off by their parents at shows that I'm like, Watain? Really? like, but yeah, like a lot of the stigmas and fears and stuff like that have kind of got away. I know that the black metal community, speaking of that, isn't very happy about that happening.
Yeah, probably.
but yeah, like a lot of things that people used to be scared shitless about, they're not so more. People were getting more up on stage. People were feeling more comfortable going up to these musicians that they used to think was scary, and like they're not. Usually they're big dorks. Like Alice Cooper is probably one of the biggest dorks out there, man. He owns a sports bar.
Yeah.
It's a great sports bar, though. I mean, I'm not going to get paid to, say anything about that, but whatever. It is good. But yeah, like, a lot of the stigmas are kind of going away, and about individuals and stuff in music, and, I feel like people are daring to be a little bit more different with the freedom of having that, I know I definitely am. So, I'm just kind of waiting. I mean, I guess like kind of off topic, but I'm just kind of sitting here just like waiting. Like, like when are the feminists going to start coming after me? Like, for the stuff we're singing about, and what I'm going to say when that happens? Probably nothing. I'm kind of a jerk. Like, I'm just going to be like, yeah, whatever. Because it's like, that having that expression of freedom is like, is what is so important. So you guys have been hearing a lot about like shows getting shut down and stuff like over, I guess free thinkers and things that are scary or taboo or like but yeah, things have definitely progressed and changed quite a bit. Some for the better, some for the worse, but there is more of like a bigger and more accepting family now these days than there ever has been, at least for me. My family feels like it keeps getting bigger every year instead of smaller. And even with all the changes. So
I don't know, that wraps it up. That was more. That was
I know, it was a long one. It was a haul.
Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Glad to see you guys again. I know we haven't talked since probably in person since probably Oklahoma when I was out there for work and stuff, but yeah, for sure.
You doing that again this year?
We'll see. If I'm not on the road, that'd be great. I'm always open to that. I love working festivals. Like I've been involved with the venue scene for a long time. Like pretty much almost as long as I've been playing music, I've been working in venues and either like helping run them or working at huge, like just big shows and stuff like that, 6-7 days a week. Been doing that for a long time. But since I've been out in Oklahoma, it's like, now I can do, like, I started building guitars and stuff and, like, like doing stuff that I couldn't really financially accomplish, like, out there. I couldn't have a shop, couldn't have, like, tools. Like, I wouldn't trust my roommates around it. Oh, gosh. So, like, there was a lot of things I could do now that I couldn't do back there. And, so I'm, like, doing guitars, work venues, do the festival thing, go and work shows and stuff. I've been doing that. Like, kind of sound like a carny, huh?
But it's a carny in the good
way. I mean, now we're just like tinkering around, making toys and go out on these festivals and jump on. Yeah, it's just like that's kind of a lifestyle too, I guess, a little transient. But yeah, when I think about it that way, it's pretty sad. But work at Vanguard every once in a while too. So I like to see more venues pop up as well. Like, hopefully the ones that are out right now. I know like First Shop and stuff, they're building all that stuff around there. Man, it scares me so bad because it's like when that started happening in Oregon, like a lot of the small like venues like that started getting bought out by like ice cream stores and it sucks so bad. And then on top of all that, like all my buddies lived in those neighborhoods. Those are the streets. Yeah. That's where the metal was and like the punk and like the heart of like why people were moving to Portland in the first place. And they had a lot of neighborhoods and a lot of houses around there. Well, people started building their like knitting shops and all this stuff next to the music because that's the art district. And all of a sudden my friend's house that they lived in for 10 years just went triple, sometimes quadruple the rent. And they just started moving everybody out. And then the music changed. They took the venues out. Portland's been getting hit hard, But yeah, it makes me weary when I see like places like First Shop or like those like building signs like Sound Pony and Yeti, Canes. Mm-hmm. Like the heart of Tulsa music. Yeah. They have no business building houses over there. You know what I mean? Like not for us, but like that's just I don't understand. Like it's gonna be a nuisance. They're gonna have issues with the parking. That's gonna be a nuisance, and if they get mad enough, they'll either buy out that whole building or level it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We got to put up a big fuss about that. We won't let that happen. We're not going to let that happen. You don't want Canes or Brady or, that whole Main Street downtown area. Like, that's like, I'm not from here, but that's like, to me, like, since I've been here, that just feels like kind of like one of the beating hearts out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It is.
So,
yeah.
Like, I don't want to see that happen. I haven't played Canes, and I want to. I want to, like, I don't know when that's going to happen, but I don't want it to be like right before it. I don't even.
You'll play it.
Yeah. When the deal holograms there, you can open it.
Where's my hologram? Man, I get tired. I don't want to play some shows. I don't get a fucking hologram. Like, I don't get to go like my back.
Hey, you didn't write Holy Dagger, okay? That's why you don't have a hologram yet.
Like, is he gonna like sparkle? I mean, like, how's that gonna fucking look? Like,
I don't know. It's on YouTube. I haven't watched it. I haven't brought myself to watch it, but yeah.
Really?
I don't know.
I'm blown away. I mean, that's something that I would never have go over my radar, and I'm just kind of like, what the like what happens when it glitches? Like, I was like, that was what I was thinking with Tupac, is what happens when he's all like,
yep. I don't know.
What are they gonna do? I don't know. They should do like MC Hammer. They should do all of it if they're gonna go for it. Jeez.
Next thing they can get Dave Grohl and Chris Novoselic and have a hologram of Kurt Cobain.
I almost want to say that I did hear something about people wanting. That will not happen. I know that won't. Not while they're alive. You know what I mean? But that's like some serious like Back to the Future, like kind of like really weird, like this kind of stuff I feel like we've seen in like movies and stuff for the last 15 years. Like when you have like AI or something like that the entertainment now will be like people are going to get so far removed from like interacting with each other, because like, I mean, we're already like this all day. Yeah. Like, but we have to be, sometimes we have to do it for work too, band, I have to be, I have to all day long. Like, I mean, I just, yeah, to like get to a point where like your entertainment, man, I don't even want to deal with watching real people anymore. Like, why even drive for, like, man, that's going to be a sad day when people stop driving 4 hours out of the way to go see a show. Yeah. That's one of my favorite things to do. I don't know about you guys, but when it's just like, when I go see a show, I want to go see a show. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm not being in Portland anymore means that I'm not like spoiled with just going down the street to see it. Now I have to like really get excited about going, and like make it a trip and eat crappy gas station food and like this,
That's right.
Yeah, I'll go to Dallas or Kansas City in a heartbeat if it's a band.
I love Kansas City.
I know it's not going to come around here,
For sure. Like Kansas, like Riot Room. You guys have been ref, of course. Yeah. Like it's, I don't know. Now that I've been like branching out like a little bit more, like with like playing shows around town, like talking like about this like quite a bit with my friends lately, where it's kind of like we aren't just sticking to Tulsa. Like we're from Tulsa, like, we play shows in Tulsa. We love playing shows here, but we've been getting like a really good response, like playing, like OKC, like, well, that's a sister place. I consider it to be, like I wouldn't say it's better than Tulsa, but yeah, like just playing just out of town. Like I can't wait. It's so much fun. But yeah, it's nice having that freedom to do that, because then we don't like, I feel like it's made it so it's like I don't get as wrapped up into the drama, wrapped up into the bullshit. Like since I'm not always playing always the same shows, always the same bands, like it gives me like a little bit more like, I guess, mental space to like deal with it, and like branch out a little bit and see things, travel. There's a lot of like parts of this country that I haven't seen yet, and I thought that I'd been all over. No. Yeah. Done with Kansas though. There's nothing. Yeah. Yeah, we had a tower blowout when we did get to Kansas though, and I'd said too, like we hadn't had a single problem. Everything was just everything was great. No music problems. Our gear was fine. Nothing. Not a hitch. Incredible weather the whole way, And then we get to Kansas, and it's just like, I wake up and it's just like, because a tire, like, that's one of the scariest things too. Like, losing a tire when you have a trailer and you're in a van, nothing in this world, nothing scares me more. Not a spider, not a single predator, not like anything in the world, because it's just like the whole thing goes, you know. And if you're coming down a grade, oh my gosh, like. But yeah, we were fine though. We got it switched at like, it took like 30 minutes, which was not what I was expecting to happen. I thought we were going to be in Kansas all day. I woke up at like 7 a.m. The first thing I see is this like side of the road, and woke up to like, you know, bumping around. And it was the last stretch too, because it was from Colorado to home. Yeah. So it was just like, no, like, not Kansas, no. And I remember too, like, in the bathroom, there was like this giant sign that was just like this Trump, like, something or other, but it was really offensive. Like, man, I wish there's gotta be a photo of it or something, but it was pretty bad. I mean, like, it was like wholesome to somebody, or else it wouldn't have gone up there. But we were cracking up about it. We were just like, what does that say? Oh, we're in Kansas. Yeah, no, it's been a trip. I never came to Tulsa before I came here. That's what I was saying to you earlier about like how I wish more bands, like, I wish because of me, like, personally, I wish that we would have played here more, you know. When we were talking about with Graves, like, going down, we were going to do a Texas, you know, kind of a run through the South and stuff, which I think they ended up doing not too long after I left. I don't quote me on it. I didn't follow them after that. I was kind of like, really was trying to focus more on myself and what I was doing. But like, that's what we talked about, was kind of going, okay, so we hit Arizona and then we just go down. We don't go through New Mexico. We don't like Oklahoma. What do we do out there? We just kind of just didn't even put it on our maps, you know? And I've been trying to encourage like bands a lot more recently. Like, hey, dude, check it out. Like, hit that part of the map. Just check it out. Just pass through. You know, come say hi to me. You know, or something. You know, come check it out, because you know there's like maybe a bit of a stigma that it's like it's the South. It's scary and like tumbleweeds, and like one of the biggest struggles I think that's like about living in the Midwest is that animosity towards like people from the West Coast and people from the East Coast like have this like huge privilege of getting to see and do all the stuff that you can't do, like beaches. They get the luxury of being more progressive, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, so it's like always at odds, you know, and ends and stuff like that, where like people out there think that everybody in the Midwest is just sitting out here just like da da da, you know, and like here we're just like, man, I can't wait to get the hell out of here and like be in this great place where it's kind of just not necessarily, you know, like it's really expensive and overwhelming and crazy, and there's, you know, people are a little bit more like quick to like stab you in the back, whereas in like Tulsa, Oklahoma, they're like, oh, we got your back, like we got you, like it's like, yeah, this is kind of like a stereotype that I think that's going to change, like with people kind of coming out here and playing more and stuff like that. And like, yeah, I'm sure Iron Maiden said that Tulsa was the best city that they played in on their entire tour, right? You guys go? Okay, but you make sure that it was? Okay, good. I want to come back. Like, I'm not going to work that night.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I can't wait. Oh yeah. Well,
this is great.
We're I'm trying to think when our next show is. You guys come check it out. Like, we're gonna be would you guys come to Michael Graves? Were you there?
No.
No.
I don't even remember when that was.
That was great. We played that like the day before we left for tour, so but that was a big show. That was really fun. Like, everybody left after we played. Nobody watched Michael Graves, and that was just kind of like, we were on a good, like, our heads were just like up here for like a good like couple weeks. We're just like, we were better than Michael Graves. And then immediately we got like, you know, that knocked out of us when we got on tour. Cause it's like, we're not that. No, we have to like, no, it's not like that. So no, that guy's a legend, you know. That was just a fluke. I guess he put out a record that sucked. That was really a freak thing. That wasn't like, but we were on it. We were just like, oh my gosh, because so many people came out. And we had another big show too, I guess, with like the Queers, and then we played with Merlin Mason, and our band and Merlin Mason were just like at each other and like trying to like get each other, like, well, they were trying to get us kicked off the show, and like it was just like we weren't going to do that back, so we were just kind of like one-upping them with selling more tickets, and it was just that was a little bit of fun. Like, I mean, the show ended up going great. Everybody got along and had a good time. There was no beef or anything like that, but it was pretty funny. You know, it was kind of like, you know, everybody's scrambling, you know, to play like the show and be like the best and, you know, whatever. Yeah, like I said, like you know, sometimes the competition's good. You know, there's always going to be people like me playing personally and playing the music. Oh, there's so many people I can't stand. Like, and there's so many people that I look up to that are just like awful, horrible human beings. And like, it sucks. Yeah, sometimes being a hero sucks. But like, yeah, like, I mean, like he was saying, it's like, I feel like, you know, dude, like the shows are going to be a lot better, and, you know, we're going to keep getting momentum if we keep working at it and stuff. So, I mean, hopefully we'll be playing some shows, like bigger shows and stuff, like later on this year. And like, I think our next big one, I mean, other than Mothership, that's going to be in OKC. We're playing with Hudson Falcons. That's going to be a good one. And then, yeah, I mean, just check out our band page if there's anything that you want to check out or go to see. I mean, it is a little bit more punk. We do play with, like, the Normandy, so we, like, love playing shows with them. We kind of, like, fit on the bill together pretty well. Yeah, because they're, like, pretty catchy, and, like, we're kind of, like, more, like, country, kind of melodic. Just, it's really hard to explain what our band sound is. Like, I like that, though. It's kind of like, oh, you know, it sounds like Misfits, or it sounds like, oh, it sounds like Bad Religion, or it sounds like this or that. And it's, like, with us, it's like, well, sound like Motorhead, and we sound like this, and we sound like that, and we sound like this, and we sound like that. So we got like definitely a good mix in there, and I don't know. So come and see me, you know, like when I get a little bit more practice at the singing thing too. Like don't drag me too hard, okay, but don't drag me too hard. But I am happy with it. I am proud of it. So hopefully everybody has like sitting in this room has a really rad like 2017. You know.
Yeah, we'll definitely check you out. We're considering coming to that Mothership show. So
really,
yeah.
Oh man, I hope the weather's good and you guys can make it, because I know it's gonna be rager. Like the last couple times we played the Blue Note, I went and saw.
It's funny, like I've lived here my whole life and I've never been to the Blue Note.
It's my favorite bar. It's my favorite bar in Oklahoma. Like
really?
Absolutely, yeah. It's my favorite venue. It's my favorite bar. Like a lot of places out. Maybe didn't get us or make us feel very welcome because they just didn't get us. You know, it's chicks screaming at stuff. You know, it's like, what the fuck? Like, what is that? You know, scaring away our customers. Turn that shit down. Like, that's totally kind of the vibe that we've gotten in a couple places, or like had beef with like another band. They don't want us playing their place, or like whatever, you know. So it's been kind of like, because of that, we had to like kind of branch out and like try other places. And we played this place called the Blue Note, and it was just like, owner of that place rules. Sound guys are awesome. All their bartenders are just great people. And like, it was just a blast. I went up there just to go see a show, not play there. Mm-hmm. Like, I think we played there going on twice. Have played there twice. But went up there to go see Duel. And like this other band, The Welch is like another band that's got a girl bass player in it. She's a ripper. And man, I had a blast. I couldn't get out of that place till 5 or 6 in the morning, like the next day. Cause there's like a tattoo shop next to it. And I was like, I'm still gonna party. Like, I had so much fun. Like, yeah, but it's just like a good vibe though. I mean, I don't have to go there and do what I did. You can still have a good time. And they also have like, I don't want to spoil it, but they have like this giant, like, Eddie from Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just there. Like, right when you walk in, you're just like, what the hell? That's the coolest shit. Where am I? Like, I don't know. I just we feel kind of more at home. It's kind of been like our home base bar. Like, kind of turning into that or whatever. But you know, we definitely want to play more shows there. Definitely support the guy, you know, that runs that place. It's so cool. And he really cares about, like, you know, the bands in Oklahoma and, like, everybody, like, you know, playing shows and stuff. And that's really refreshing to see. So, yeah, man. 2017's in a row.
There you go, Lola Henderson from Redneck Nosferatu, bassist, vocalist. All kinds of great stuff there. We talked about Typo Negative.
Yes.
And so I was just thinking if Peter Steele was here to say this band's name, he would say Redneck Nosferatu.
That's exactly how we would say it.
Yeah.
I like that, Trent.
Yeah.
I like that.
And speaking of Typo Negative, I just got a Typo Negative tattoo.
You did. You're a fucking warrior. You're hardcore.
Yeah. Much
I
love
like
to
it.
Peter Steele.
Exactly. Always loved Peter Steele.
Of course, how can he not?
That's right. That's right.
Well, it's great to hear all this great stuff that Lola's got going on. Looking forward to this new album from Redneck Nosferatu.
Yeah, yeah. And it was just a great hang. It's cool to just, shut up and listen.
Yeah.
And just kind of soak it all in. It was a great discussion. So it's a good one.
Yeah. So if this is your first time listening, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Get online and check us out at thethunderunderground.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, YouTube. We're at The Thunder Underground. Subscribe to us there. We've got reaction stuff we do on YouTube separate from the podcast. We've had reviews of Metallica, Avenged Sevenfold, Rocklahoma's lineup announcement, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Black Sabbath concert. We've got 105 previous podcasts on SoundCloud.com/Thunder-Underground.
And let's name them all off now. Go.
Starting with number 1 was, I can't even remember what 1 was.
God, me neither. Jesus. Fuck, I have no clue.
But on the punk side of stuff, we had Lenny Lashley from the Street Dogs. We've had the Normandies, who I believe was mentioned in that discussion. We've had, as probably the punk guest we've had, we had on, Kirk Winstein from the Doom, and side of things, and
Wino, yeah, yep.
And I mean, as you heard, because before she joined Redneck Nosferatu, all we knew Lola was when we, we first met her when we did this podcast. Go look this one up with Forever and Disgust and Smoke Offering, because she was in Smoke Offering for a short bit, filling in on bass, and she's on that episode as well. So go back and check that one out.
That's right.
And then we've got, everything from guys in Death Angel, Avatar, Soil, Shinedown, Megadeth.
Nonpoint.
There you go.
Europe. Overkill.
Yes.
Warrant, Trickster. We've got
Corrosion of Conformity, Scattered Hamlet, Battle Cross, Insight. The list goes on and on.
Yeah, we've got like pretty much our umbrella's pretty wide. We've got stuff from a lot of genres of rock and metal, and that's how we like it. So go check it out.
Yeah. Well, coming up next week, or in the next week or two, we've got Steven Taylor.
Yes.
From Super Joint Ritual. Well, sorry. Super Joint.
Super Joint. Super Joint. And you know what? That was a badass show, and we'll get to that on that episode. But yeah, that's coming, and it's going to be great. Yeah.
If you're not familiar with Super Joint, I almost said it. That used to be Super Joint Ritual. It's still the same band. They just dropped Ritual for some reason. I didn't want to ask why, because I figure they've probably been asked that 20 times in interviews.
Yeah.
He's also in Philip Anselmo's solo band, The Illegals.
Yes.
So we get into all that stuff. That'll be coming soon. And besides that, we've got other stuff in the works, and we appreciate you listening.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
All right. Until next time.
Touring is expensive, and you have to sell merch, and there isn't anywhere to stop.
Yeah.
You want to go through Kansas? Go ahead and go through Kansas. But if I were you, I'd totally hit up Tulsa first.
Thunder Underground, y'all.